Welcome back to Trending Update USA. This is Stefan and I'm glad you're here with us today as we dive into one of the most talked about tennis predictions right now, involving a legendary coach, a modern superstar, and a future season that could redefine women's tennis. Serena Williams' former coach has never been shy about strong opinions, and when he speaks, the tennis world listens closely. This time, his bold prediction centers on Coco Gauff and what he believes will unfold for her in 2026. It's a statement that has instantly sparked debate among fans, analysts, former players, and coaches alike, because it doesn't just touch on form or rankings. It speaks to legacy, dominance, pressure, and the next phase of an already remarkable career. Coco Gauff is still astonishingly young by professional standards, yet she has already lived several careers within one. From the moment she defeated Venus Williams at Wimbledon as a teenager, the world placed expectations on her shoulders that would have crushed many seasoned professionals. Every serve, every forehand, every emotional reaction has been analyzed, critiqued, and compared to the greats who came before her. And yet, despite the noise, Gauff has consistently evolved. What makes the former Serena Williams coach's prediction so compelling is his understanding of what it truly takes to move from being a champion to becoming a dominant, era-defining force. Having witnessed Serena's rise, struggles, reinventions, and sustained excellence firsthand, his perspective is shaped by decades inside the pressure cooker of elite tennis. When he looks at Coco Gauff, he's not just seeing a talented athlete. He's seeing patterns, warning signs, and explosive potential that may not fully reveal themselves until 2026. According to the coach, 2026 will not simply be another season on Coco Gauff's calendar. He believes it will be the year when everything aligns, or when the sport demands a final transformation. Physically, Coco will be entering a stage where her strength, speed, and endurance reach peak efficiency. Mentally, she will have accumulated years of Grand Slam pressure, heartbreaking losses, and defining wins. Those experiences, he suggests, are critical ingredients for the kind of dominance Serena once displayed. But the prediction is not blindly optimistic. It comes with a caveat that has sparked just as much attention as the praise. The coach has warned that 2026 will test Coco Gauff more brutally than any previous season. By then, she will no longer be viewed as the young phenom learning her way through the tour. She will be targeted as the benchmark. Every opponent will tailor game plans specifically to expose her weaknesses, to disrupt her rhythm, and to push her emotionally. This is where the Serena comparison naturally enters the conversation. Serena Williams, during her prime years, faced opponents who played the match of their lives simply because they were playing her. Coco Gauff, according to her former coach, is approaching that same threshold. When everyone brings their best just to face you, consistency becomes the true measure of greatness. One of the most intriguing elements of the prediction is the emphasis on mental evolution. Coco Gauff has been praised repeatedly for her maturity, composure, and articulate interviews. But the coach insists that inner calm is only the first layer. In his view, 2026 will demand a ruthless competitive edge that goes beyond sportsmanship and resilience. He believes Coco will need to embrace a version of herself that is unapologetically dominant, one that expects to win and responds with controlled fury when challenged. This assessment has resonated deeply with longtime Serena fans, who remember how her mentality shifted over the years. Serena didn't just want to compete, she wanted to impose her will. The coach believes Coco's personality is different, more introspective and socially aware, but he sees signs that she can develop her own version of that competitive fire without losing her identity. The technical side of the prediction is equally fascinating. The coach has pointed to Coco Gauff's serve and forehand as areas that could become outright weapons by 2026. While already effective, he believes refinements in placement, disguise, and confidence will turn them into match-ending tools rather than rally starters. He also highlighted her movement, suggesting that her defensive skills could transition into an attacking advantage that constantly pressures opponents into errors. Fitness will also play a defining role. Coco Gauff is known as one of the fittest players on tour, but the coach believes that 2026 will introduce longer, more grueling battles against rivals who have specifically trained to match her physicality. Surviving those encounters, he says, will require not just endurance but strategic recovery and smarter scheduling. Another dimension of the prediction involves leadership. By 2026, Coco Gauff is expected to be one of the senior voices in women's tennis, regardless of age. Younger players will look at her career path as a blueprint, and media responsibilities will continue to grow. The coach predicts that how she balances advocacy, public presence, and competitive focus will directly influence her results on court. This aspect echoes Serena Williams' career in a modern context. Serena carried cultural weight, commercial power, and social influence while still dominating tennis. Coco Gauff, already outspoken and socially engaged, faces similar expectations at an even younger age. The former coach believes that mastering this balance could either elevate her or become an exhausting distraction if not managed carefully. Perhaps the most striking part of the prediction is the suggestion that 2026 could be a defining fork in the road. Either Coco Gauff transitions into a multi-season dominant force, collecting major titles with authority, or she becomes part of an ultra-competitive era where greatness is measured in moments rather than sustained reigns. The difference, according to the coach, will come down to mindset and belief under pressure. Fans have reacted passionately to these comments. Supporters see the prediction as validation that Coco Gauff's best tennis is still ahead of her. Critics argue that comparisons to Serena Williams create unrealistic standards that no player should be forced to meet. Others believe the coach is simply recognizing the natural arc of elite athletes who mature into their greatness rather than peaking early. What cannot be denied is that Coco Gauff has already shown an ability to learn from adversity. Losses that once lingered have become lessons. Matches that slipped away mentally have turned into wins through resilience. That pattern aligns closely with the Serena Williams model that the coach references, adding credibility to his projection. From a competitive standpoint, the landscape of women's tennis in 2026 will be fierce. Established stars will still be present, emerging talents will be hungry, and rivalries will intensify. The coach predicts that Coco Gauff will thrive in this environment if she fully commits to playing on her own terms rather than reacting to expectations. He also addressed the inevitable pressure of being labeled the future of American tennis. Serena Williams carried that torch for decades, and passing it on is no small task. The coach believes Coco has the emotional intelligence to handle this responsibility, but only if she continues to surround herself with honest voices rather than echo chambers. One subtle yet powerful point in the prediction touches on joy. The coach emphasized that Serena Williams, despite her intensity, always found love in competition. For Coco Gauff, maintaining that joy will be essential in 2026 when the grind becomes relentless. Success, he warned, loses meaning if the internal spark fades. As the tennis world dissects every word of this prediction, one thing is clear. Coco Gauff's journey is far from complete. If anything, the coming years may reveal a version of her game and mentality that surpasses even current expectations. Whether 2026 becomes her era-defining breakout or her most challenging test remains to be seen, but the spotlight will undoubtedly be brighter than ever. For fans, this prediction adds another layer of intrigue to every match Coco Gauff plays from now on. Every improvement, every setback, every emotional reaction will be viewed through the lens of what it might mean for 2026. That pressure can be daunting, but it can also be fuel for greatness. Serena Williams' former coach has placed a bold marker on the timeline, and history suggests that his insights deserve attention. Coco Gauff stands at the intersection of talent, timing, and destiny. If the prediction proves accurate, we may look back on this moment as the point when the tennis world began preparing for Coco Gauff's defining chapter. That's all for this edition on Trending Update USA. I'm Stefan, and as always, we'll continue bringing you the biggest stories, boldest predictions, and deepest conversations from the world of sports.